Now, President Biden has decided how the US will respond to a drone strike that killed 3 American troops in Jordan. Speaking outside the White House today, he declined to reveal any details on the response, but said that the US does not need a wider war in the Middle East. A militia group backed by Iran claimed responsibility for the attack on a US military base in Jordan. Mr. Biden's comments come after Prime Minister Rishi Sunak urged Iran to work towards de-escalating the situation. Tehran says it wasn't behind the attack and accuses the US of trying to incite and expand the crisis. Let's talk about that and other issues. I'm joined by Robert Fox, who's the defence editor of the Evening Standard and a peerless voice on all of this. Robert, welcome to the show. So here we go again. Those of us of a certain age have seen wars come and go in the Middle East. The key question is Biden having to respond to this latest attack? If he doesn't do that, will it further embolden Iran?
Oh, we can forget about the peerless, I'm afraid, Martin. Let's get on with this. I think he has to do something, and I think he stated the terms in which he has to do something. He has to do something which is more than a gesture, but is less than foolhardy and promotes a widening war. The game of Iran is disruption. Now you see me, now you don't. They probably didn't give the order to send the attack drone into Tower 22, where the 3 were killed, the 34 injured, but they're certainly sponsoring payment, giving know-how and encouragement to the people who did. America wants to show that it is in the lead there, that it is not leaving the region in a hurry, despite counterclaims, but it is desperate this war doesn't widen to an all-out conflict involving Iran directly, which could go from the Persian or Arabian Gulf right across to the Eastern Mediterranean.
Now, Robert, an astonishing report from the IMF today. They've been poking their nose into British tax affairs, telling us we can't raise our taxes, cut taxes, that would affect net zero. But they've also upgraded Russia's gross domestic product, saying that Russia is benefiting from a huge surge of profits during war. War, what is it good for? It seems Vladimir Putin's coffers.
This is so. Look at the struggling growth figures in Western Europe and UK included. The Russian economy has grown by something like over 3% last year, and that is almost entirely due to the very high price and therefore the ransom of Russian oil. And this is where we get this absolutely weird looking glass war where Russia is encouraging Hamas and the Houthis. And oddly, they're hitting supplies of Russian oil coming out through the Gulf and coming out from their ally, and it has to be described as such, pure and simple, their ally Iran, for whom the outlet through the Gulf, which is now associated with the Red Sea, is absolutely vital. It's very interesting that the Houthis have actually been hitting tankers carrying Russian hydrocarbon, in other words, petroleum product, oil, cargoes.
And isn't that the problem? We are facing tyrants here and opponents who have ostensibly limitless funds. They simply turn on the taps on their gas and oil. Meanwhile, we can barely even get sailors on a single ship.
Well, this is really a huge problem because this is the year of great elections. It is a great year of the test of a democracy. I'm not saying it's the decline of the West, far from it. But here we pay attention to our electorates. For Tehran, for Moscow, they're part of a pantomime joke electorates. They're important. They are ramped up, and you usually win an election if you're an autocrat in both countries by roughly somewhere north of 95%. But they really have, this is a common factor, they have contempt for their people. Russia, unfortunately, Martin, just to draw this all together, and this is the NATO assessment now, is engaged on a war policy, and it's a war policy 10-year plan against the West, and we're in year 2 of that plan. And if somebody, 3 or 4 figures have said to me, if Ukraine goes, and they're considering the possibility we are all in trouble, certainly the Baltics will be next, the German armed forces and the German government is terrified of this and is talking about the prospect. It's a real wake-up call. Nobody's listening.
OK, Robert Fox, excellent analysis, concise, to the point, as ever, defence editor of the Evening Standard. Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us on GB News.